Welcome to Creative Control. Thanks for coming back. If you've been here before, if not, and this is your first time, we're happy to have you. I'm joined by a new friend today, Austin Stanley, A to Z Sports. Good to meet you, man.
Yeah, you as well.
Psyched to have you.
Yeah, I've been following what you've been doing on Instagram or whatever social media. I guess Twitter was probably the first time.
Oh, really?
I think it was maybe 5-6 years ago.
Bussin With The Boys days, probably.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't been active on Twitter since then.
I've been less active on Twitter over the last 2 to 3 years, which is because I'm just busier.
Yeah.
So Twitter's a great time suck. So
Yes.
when you avoid it, you suck less time.
I just find myself getting angry on Twitter.
That happens too.
Yeah, anytime I open it up for anything, like if somebody shares a tweet with me and through text or whatever, I'll go to it and then I find myself scrolling and I'm like, what am I doing here, man? I'm just getting myself mad.
I live tweet during games,
Nice.
and that's it.
Nice.
And then I don't respond to them.
There you go. Yeah. Well, all right. So you got healthy habits.
Just let it fly.
Yeah.
Vols games, Titans games, Vols games for my heart, Titans games for work. And I just send them off and just don't even read the responses.
Yeah. Well played. That's nice. I'm sure that lets you sleep better at night.
Yeah, kind of. I 8-month-old son, so that's
congrats,
we're doing
man.
that. Yeah,
that's awesome. I have a year and a half.
Nice.
Little girl.
There you go.
And then we got another one coming in February.
Oh,
another girl.
That's big.
Thanks, man. Yeah. How you sleeping?
Yeah, I mean, I've learned, I think, to adapt with less.
Yeah.
So, it's okay.
Nice,
it
dude.
allows me to listen to a lot of podcasts.
Yes, a lot of time to kill, for sure.
Yeah.
Well, for today, I don't want to talk about how bad the Titans suck.
Great.
I don't want to talk about your picks for college football playoff.
Awesome.
And I don't want to talk about what other sports media outlets you're outperforming right now.
Okay.
So we won't touch that. What I do want to talk about, though, is how local sports coverage is evolving.
All right.
I want to talk about what it takes to stay relevant in today's content landscape. And then I want to get into building a digital-first sports media company. And I want to, I think, start right there.
Cool.
Where did A to Z come from?
So go back to 2012. I was fresh out of college, went to Tennessee, and I was looking for something to do. It was journalism broadcast degree in sports. And so came back to Nashville with no job, no anything, just started throwing resumes to radio stations and newspapers or whatever.
You're like 22.
I was, 22.
Yep.
Got on as an intern at 102.5 The Game.
Nice.
Was an unpaid intern for about 7 months after college.
Good for you.
Then got my first on-air opportunity doing the high school football show on Friday nights.
Nice.
So that was basically me go out to a local game, do call-ins from the sideline throughout the game, post-game call-in to the show that was 7 to midnight. On Friday nights, which had a big time listening-ship because if you're a football player or a parent of a high school football player in this area, you're into that stuff.
No doubt.
And you want to hear the coaches' interviews, but being one of the reporters that went to the big games, and that was a fun time in Middle Tennessee high school football because you started to see like Jalen Hurd was coming up big. Yep. NFL players, Derek Barnett, Jalen Ramsey were actually the first game that I covered. And so you saw a lot of the guys that are on Sundays now playing in high school. And so did some radio call-ins there. And that's actually where Zach Bingham and I connected because he was doing the same thing. He was in the sales department at 102.5 and also just for free, for nothing, going and do whatever high school corner of the counties or mid-state that we were in to cover a game. And so he ended up hearing me while he was on hold to do his call-in. He heard me do my call-in, and then I got a Twitter DM the next week. Said, hey, you want to start a podcast? And so that's how that happened. And so we're like, all right, what do we want to call this thing? It's like, well, my name's Austin, your name's Zach, so we could call it A to Z Sports.
Nice,
and we both had that down on our list. And I guess that's just good enough to just roll with it for now.
Yeah.
And so we did that, the podcast for about a year. Then it was a Saturday morning radio show. Then we convinced the general manager at the time to put us on 5 days a week. And so for 2 years, I was a 5-day-a-week radio show host in Nashville doing 3 hours a day. Dude. From age 24 through 26. Way too young to do that. And so
immature takes, I'm sure.
I mean, It wasn't that bad, but it was there's some things that make me cringe when I think about how I would cover a story now, a decade older than what I was covering it then,
sure.
right? And also there's a different, I was way more emotional, which I think the fans resonated with when you're younger. Now it's like, you kind of like let it ride off your back, whatever. There's another game. It's the big picture.
It's when it comes to sport,
when it's come to sports talk, yes, for sure. So that's how we got started. And then that general manager that put us on got let go, and then new GM came in. Some other influence came in. We were the easiest show to cut because I was 26, Zach was like 28 maybe, and so they cut us, and then we're like, all right, now what? And so this was summer 2016. So this was like Periscope and Facebook Live had just started.
Oh, wow, yeah.
And so we went down to SEC Media Days and just kind of job faired it that summer and started talking to a bunch of people. And we had a concept. We knew what we had was really good. We had a great chemistry on air, great dynamic. It was not quite Stephen A. Smith, Skip Bayless Embrace Debate, but it was let's set up to have a difference of opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Like we may have a show topic about any situation with the Titans or the Vols or whatever. And we're going to agree on probably like 85% of it. But what's the 15% that we can have a good discussion with? Let's find that and set up the audience to also find that. And so we knew we had something. So that's where we decided to bet on ourselves and not go to a different radio market or different whatever. And created our own LLC, and the Titans went 9-7 in 2016. They were 5-27 the 2 years combined before that.
Nice.
So we got a little experience in a run from that, and then you have to have some luck when it comes to growth. So and then the first 12 months of us running our own company, talking about sports from ground zero, the Titans went 9-7. The Vols were at one point undefeated. Then they had the crash and burn. Jalen Hurts quit the team mid-season, the loss to Vanderbilt, and then the following spring, the Preds went to the Stanley Cup final. 2017, the Titans made the playoffs.
Yeah.
The Tennessee Vols had the firing Butch Jones, the crazy circus of a coaching hiring process, Shiano Sunday, all that stuff.
Yep.
So that was within like 12, 15 months. And so we got a lot of...
You guys had to be like, dude,
yeah,
what did we do to deserve this?
We have covered everything.
Yeah.
This is awesome. Like, we know how to cover
that's
bad
what I'm saying.
teams,
Like, what a
good
blessing.
teams. Yeah, it was awesome. So, and then we learned how to take the sponsorship aspect and
Yes.
sales of what Zach was doing on radio. How does it transfer to digital, into video? And so we had some successes there, and obviously a bunch of losses as well, and learning. And then once we kind of got a couple years of that model underneath our belts, like, all right, now how do we bring somebody else in and teach them so it's not just Austin and Zach, not just A to Z, and how we build a company. And so I would say from 2019, we hired Buck Rising, who was also, he was the overnights guy at 102.5 while we were doing the morning show. So we knew Buck from then. He would cut up my audio when I was going to bed. I'd say, hey, give me these clips.
Nice.
And then I'd get there and he'd have them ready. And so that's what that relationship came from. And so then he's had his career, and he's still with A to Z and doing stuff with The Zone and Fox Sports Radio and doing a great job there. And so we got Buck in, learned and built there. And then COVID happens, and after COVID, we kind of put our foot on the gas even more.
Can I call pause there?
Yeah.
Because you've hit a ton of great things that I want to dive into a little bit more. And then let's use COVID as kind of like the timeout point, and we'll come back around to post-COVID, because I think that's probably where it gets really interesting.
Sure.
Working in the internship, paid or unpaid?
Unpaid.
Thoughts on that in today's climate? Unpaid internships, specifically in sports media.
It's tough. I think it depends on what your roles are.
Sure.
Right? Like what I was doing as an unpaid intern, they didn't I was there because I wanted to be there. They didn't have very strict requirements on me. I was an intern for an afternoon radio show. I showed up. My job was to answer the phones for audience callers and call the guests, and that's it. That was my role. Now, I took it the next step by, they're having a conversation, let me look up the stat and feed it to them on a monitor, or whatever that, I don't know, whatever just came to my mind on, hey, how about this angle on a topic? And that I would be during a break. It was the 22-year-old kid talking to radio professionals. Like Willie Donick was on the show. Joe Dubin, George Plaster were doing shows that I was helping with throughout that time. And so they've been doing it for forever. And I'm like this 22-year-old kid, like, hey, you guys should do this. How about this? And they're like, all right, yeah. But I think it earned some respect from those guys because they could tell that I was there being paid nothing. I was passionate about it, so let's do it. If right now we don't have any unpaid interns with A to Z. We have in the past, but now we don't. We pay somebody whatever their role represents and what they do, we do have some, cash or whatever attached to it. So it's tough because I hate the idea of having an internship for free, especially if there's no college credit. We've done college credit in the past, which is great. But if you're producing content and it's your voice, your writing, then I think there should be something for that, especially because as the owner, one of the owners, I want a good product.
Yes.
Right. And so I want to make sure that there's that negotiation, that, acknowledgement back and forth.
Yeah, I agree wholeheartedly. I think there's a type of internship that is unpaid that makes sense to me if it's you don't know much. You're at ground zero, you don't know anything. What you're getting compensation wise here is you're coming in and you're learning.
And sometimes at that level, it's a lot of extra work on the person who's giving the internship.
No question. Yeah, it's like I need to almost have a curriculum for you to make sure that we're doing something productive for you every day.
Exactly.
I think on the other hand, if you're contributing content-wise in some way or direction-wise in some way, it's like, all right, then now all of a sudden I think there should be money on the table. It's been interesting to see, the more I poke around at who's doing what, to see who is like, no, we go as cheap labor as possible on anything, and if cheap is free, then that's the best.
Well, I don't think radio stations, especially in the market, do that anymore.
Good. I think that's good. Unless you're like, I want to come shadow, and then cool, that sounds like a
which
perfect
is kind of what I was doing. But
there's
there's a lot of people that have made careers out of that shadowing free internship period.
Yeah. When you
Buck was one of those.
Oh, awesome, great, and what a voice.
Yeah, Buck. His intern nickname was Big Voice Guy.
Nice, dude.
Deep Voice Guy. It was Deep Voice Guy, and he was he did the same thing. Fresh out of college, was doing that, and this was after I was already hired, and he was kind of that. So it does create. If you're there and you're doing that, you want it hard enough. It's kind of like a checkpoint of this person can work out because they're here doing this because they want it.
Mm-hmm. Do most of your interns stick with you guys? Do they graduate up to paid positions typically, or is there a lot of turnover in the space?
Because of the whole progression of our company, we have had guys who were unpaid interns or beer money college monthly salaries who have been full-time employees for multiple years with us now. Yeah.
Awesome. When you look at when you guys started the show, when you and Zach started the show, was there much foresight for like where we want this to go, or was it this is what's right in front of us, we're more focused on just kind of like what's on our plate?
For when we started the company or the radio side?
The radio show first.
The radio side, for me, it was I just want to be I love talking sports. I have a passion for sports talk radio. I've been listening to it and kind of like wanting to do it. And so I was there living in that moment thinking that I can continue to do this for a long time. We had some ideas on like how we could progress the show, especially with technology. We were the only ones who had our own social outlets for our individual show.
Wow.
And we were getting creative. Like we had a deal with a local liquor store where on Fridays in the football season, we had a guy come in who was like a mixologist and create a tailgate drink.
Nice.
And we streamed it on Periscope.
That's awesome.
And so that was in 2014, 2015-ish time. So like we definitely were ahead of the curve. Now we were also way younger than anybody else. Mm-hmm. And so that helped us out kind of look further ahead.
That's crazy, man. What are your thoughts on kind of like how you talked about those iconic years of Nashville sports history into the late 2010s? What are your thoughts on kind of like how the space evolved during that time and now kind of how things have morphed?
There was a big birth of independent media. We were one. There's several others. You see other people that were in whether the newspaper lane or a national outlet that they could create their own site, like Paul Kaharski's doing that. You've seen other just some, maybe county-wide or I don't know what they're called necessarily, but you just see more independent local media that were created because there's opportunity. Now, what's that now moving forward? I'm curious to see how that plays out, and I don't have the answers for that right now, but I do like that fans get more of a voice and you could have more conversations. There is bad that comes with that because now everybody has a platform, which is just a whole society thing. But it definitely grew a lot because at the same time, the technology and social media was allowing people to have and build their own platforms. The Titans were really good. And so there was just naturally more interest in that. And so it exploded. Now the Titans have been bad for a bit. And
we're not going to talk about it.
Yeah, we're not. It's part of it.
It is absolutely part of it.
So,
how has fan behavior changed over the last 10 years?
Shorter attention spans, for sure. I mean, and just no patience at all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How do you guys combat that?
Try to be creative. Try to listen to what they are responding to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, do you guys think that are you guys the model for local media now? Is this the new era of local media, what A to Z is doing? Because it's not just Nashville, obviously. You guys are expanding quickly.
I mean, I don't know if we're not the only way to do it, but we're a way to do it for sure. Yeah.
Do you think, is the legacy model going to die? Like, you're seeing everything, especially with ESPN and YouTube and all this stuff that's going on right now. Where does sports media go with this next, especially with many more local voices, many more individual voices? I can go to so-and-so and know that I trust you every day to give me whatever I'm looking for. Why would I put on an ESPN where it's somebody that I don't know who's hitting talking points? And
sure. I mean, I'm a kid that I grew up on SportsCenter. I grew up on the 90s and early 2000s SportsCenter. I have not watched SportsCenter in, I don't know, maybe, and this is not an exaggeration, maybe a decade.
How sad is that? I hate that.
It is weird because I see Rich Eisen shares he and Stuart Scott's back and forth. I'm like, dang, that was awesome. You know?
Yeah.
But it's just not the same. And so I don't like TV. The only reason I watch TV is if I'm watching a game. And I watch more TV on my phone than I do on my actual TV.
That's crazy.
And usually it's like doing dishes, and I prop my TV up right on the sink windowsill, and I'm like, this is great.
I would guess you're in the majority on that, because I'm the same way. I think that's how most people are doing it.
Yeah.
I wanted to go back to, you talked about when you and Zach were doing the show at first, you would find you have 85% of the conversation you're going to agree on for the most part, and then let's lean into that 15%. What are your thoughts on manufactured debate on sports media?
Easy to see. The audience will sniff it out so fast, and so we don't do it. I can't give an example of some time that I've just made something up or just not believed what I'm saying. So anything that I'm saying on our morning show, Talking Titans, 5 days a week, I believe it. As stupid as it may sound, if you make something up, you're going to contradict yourself and look like an idiot later, regardless.
Yeah. So I mean, you think it would fit into the same bucket of we're getting more numb to advertisements because we've seen so many of them over the years. You think fans are just becoming more savvy?
Yeah, for sure. They know exactly what it is.
Go back to now COVID hits. You're already digital media.
Yep.
So I assume you were like, oh, hell yeah, this is a good place to be in. How did that play out for you guys?
Well, we had already decided on our expansion. We knew what our vision was. We wanted to create what we had in Nashville with Zach and I doing a morning show and Buck doing a primetime show and having game day shows and website and social media, all that stuff, and local sales, sponsorship, all into one. So we had that idea. We were like, man, we're gonna have to get a studio space in whatever city we're like. How do we? And then COVID happens. We had already been doing Zoom meetings actually with a couple publishing partners, which was new to us at that point. But oh, Zoom, easy. Oh, StreamYard comes out, all these different things that you could just do things digitally. That now we got it. It's easy. So we had easier, not easy.
Sure.
So we
simple.
Yes, yeah. And less expensive.
Yeah.
So we had the ability to expand in 2021. And Dallas was the first market we had our sights on. Zach has family in Dallas, and the Cowboys are, the Cowboys. So take advantage of that opportunity.
Yeah.
With a big metro area that could, sponsorship dollars are there.
Yeah.
And so we did it. We hired a guy to do a 5-day-a-week morning show, hired a guy to do a primetime show, and set up a former Cowboy receiver and the morning host for a sports bar game day show. Did that for a few years, and it was doing really well. I had sales guys come and go as they do, and the algorithm changes to where what does YouTube want and what does YouTube not want, and how is that changing things, and how do we look at that next level? And the next level is more short form and vertical video. And so now I would say over the last 15, 18 months, we've created more markets outside of just Nashville and Dallas, to where it's Philadelphia, Detroit, Cincinnati, Pittsburgh. These are off the top of my head.
Yeah.
Buffalo, And then Indianapolis we just launched, and then we've got some college. We have a Tennessee Vols channel now that's separate from our Titan stuff. And then we have Notre Dame. We've dabbled in Alabama and Texas and some other college programs as well to create, how can you find that writer who's writing a bunch of content per week about that team? How do you coach them up to do short form vertical video or YouTube content about that same topic? And so that's where our expansion's gone from there, and that which is even quicker and cheaper to more efficient to produce that way, which is also what the algorithms and what the social platforms are wanting to.
It's awesome, man. Congrats. I mean, there's so many markets. It's a ton to manage, and I'd like to hook back to that. But I want to go back to when you first launched in Dallas. Mm-hmm. What was important when you were looking at talent there? What was like the criteria that mattered to you?
Oh, it was, how can you be dynamic and entertaining on air? Do you have a style? Do you have an audience? And do you have the drive? And so Zach did a great job of really getting the Dallas market off the ground, where he spent a lot of time boots on the ground there with our host, with our sales guy, knocking things down, getting them set up. And we had our morning show guy was super talented. He could do a 2-hour live stream in his sleep.
Isn't it nice when you stumble upon somebody like that and you're like, oh, dude, we found Superman.
And he was like producing the whole thing on the fly. I'm like, dang, that's crazy.
It's huge.
And so, and he did a great job. And I think the hard thing with that is like local sales are tough. Like doing direct sales, like you're a sponsorship sales, it's hard. And I do that with Nashville today and run and manage that operation. So it's a constant and it's a grind, and finding the right salesperson is probably one of the hardest things you can do because you're going to lose way more than you win. And how do you keep pushing through that? And it's just a hard thing to continuously put out.
What do you think was important for you guys when it came to building trust and authority in a new marketplace when you're not ESPN?
That was tough too. And I think it was
the new guys coming in.
It was also
you know
like,
what I mean?
What is A to Z Sports?
Yes.
If you're in Dallas, what is A to Z Sports? And then, so what radio station are you on? It was that on top of it.
Got it.
And that was 2021 when we started that for that football season. And so,
so you're not just battling like, hey, here's who we are. It's also like,
you walk into a car dealership and say, hey, we could do a sports talk show talking Cowboys in your showroom, and we will have X thousands of people watching this. I'm like, oh, cool. So what station are you on? And then after that, like you're like YouTube and Facebook. You're like, how? So how do I find? And then it's that hurdle was really tough.
Now you have to educate.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you're educating somebody who already doesn't have time for you.
Yeah.
And so that was a challenge. And then for them to see the dollar value on that too, because they're used to paying radio stations and TV stations way too many thousands of dollars to do something that has no visual aspect to it. You're just talking about it, or you can see that whatever car right there. And I can tell you, what percent financing or 0%, whatever the deal is. So there's so many examples of that, and overcoming the tech and the brand awareness challenges are obviously always tough.
What's been a market that was just like, holy shit, they were so ready for us?
Detroit. Yeah.
Why do you think that is?
The Lions are a different breed of fans. I'm a Tennessee Vols guy, right? Mm-hmm. The Lions are very similar, is that you're starving, you're passionate, you love this team, but they're just ripping your heart out every week and every year.
I grew up outside of Boston, so Red Sox, I've seen similar.
And then you've seen the other side of it too.
Yes.
So with the Lions, it was just perpetually just getting crushed and just demoralized. And then all of a sudden it turns. And when you find the right timing of the fan base that cares so much, that is getting rewarded for decades and a generation of just beatdowns, and you pair it with the right writer that we have for the Lions, who's also his own personality, who's lived through that too, who understands how to connect with that audience, and then they turn it around and it's gangbusters. And it's not just his written content, it's his video content, it's his social media presence. It's just the perfect package. And so the Lions is a great one out of the gates.
Speaking of finding special people, Pat McAfee, my God, what that man has done. What are your thoughts on seeing the rise of him as a brand and what he's been able to bring into sports media, but media as a whole?
Yeah, I think he's obviously made it more casual, which is I think is good because like, I mean, we're sitting here and like nobody's wearing real pants. You know, it's like half the time I wear athletic shorts all day long because I'm in my house. So it's I'm not wearing tanks or anything, but I think
you're not smoking on air and no vitamins.
I'm not dropping F-bombs either. Like we keep it try to keep it clean. But I mean, he clearly opens the door for a lot of different ways to do things, and I think that's one. It's like, well, if this guy can do it this way, and he's got the advantage of being a former NFL player who was already a big personality, even if he was just a punter, right? And so he's got that advantage, but he's taking advantage of it to his full extent. Same thing with Taylor Lewan and Will Compton, right?
Yeah, totally.
I remember when was in the locker room back when I went to the locker room weekly covering the Titans. That was one of the times where Will and Taylor were like, yeah, we're kind of kicking around the idea of starting a podcast. And that was, I guess, the 2018 season before they actually did it. And I mean, you know the personalities, you know they're going to work, and they already have like a built-in platform. But I just think it knocks down a door, knocks down a barrier that anybody can kind of do it if they have something unique about them.
What are your thoughts on how many speaking of the boys, how many more athlete-hosted shows are sprouting up? Do you like it?
I mean, that's not what I gravitate to first, but I don't dislike it.
Sure.
If that makes sense.
It's a different thing you're saying.
Yeah. I mean, I do. I like seeing the clips. You know, I have my podcast that I listen to, and I'm constantly looking for new ones to add to that. But, you know, I like seeing the clips. I like being informed. You know, they're not always in that situation or in that locker room, but I love hearing a story of how that relates to something they went through. And so I think that's a really cool aspect of everything, really.
How has your kind of like approach to YouTube evolved over like even the last couple of years? Just in terms of, you mentioned algorithm, you mentioned obviously you got to stay on top of kind of how platforms are shifting and evolving and adding new features and what they're looking for. How do you guys handle that as the space snowballs so quickly as it does?
Yeah, well, our multimedia manager does a phenomenal job of staying on top of things, and I think back when we first started Dallas, it was we're going to create many markets of 5-day a week, 1 hour long streaming shows and sell it like a radio hour, and that's not, it's established and it works here in Nashville,
sure,
right? But that's not the way you start it now. And so it goes into what's the minute threshold of content that YouTube wants, what works well. Is it shorts? Is it the 10-minute videos? Is it the hour-long stuff? Is it 30 minutes? And so you try to tailor what makes sense. And we're building these YouTube channels from zero.
Right.
And so
people underestimate how difficult that truly is, man.
It's insanely hard.
The first 1,000 subs are like, my God, you got to claw tooth and nail for everyone.
Yeah, and then you're like, hey, guess what? You can monetize it now. And
yay!
Congratulations, your $7 is here.
Congrats!
So
this will look great.
Yeah, it's very different. It's tough, but that's not everything. We have a great Facebook network. We kind of built our initial audience on Facebook because you can use video and website content and social media graphics and images on Facebook. It kind of works for all of it. So it's YouTube's a big part of what we're trying to do. It's stuff like a branding mechanism because it's like, hey, what's your YouTube? You know, and that's where you can point somebody or direct them to that. But
it's become a lot different from when you first approached that dealership.
Yeah,
now people know
now
when you say I'm on YouTube, they go, oh, okay, cool.
Instagram's kind of that way too.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like your front porch in a way of what your company or what your brand looks like.
Do you are you partial to a platform? Like, is there one that's your favorite right now personally?
It's going to sound weird.
Sure.
I think Facebook's done a really good job of adjusting.
Please say more about that, because that's a hot take, weirdly enough.
Yeah, and the only reason why I remained active using Facebook is because I'm on it for work. But the way you can use every type of content on that one platform, if you think about it, and if your news feed is set up and aggregated the way that you want it to be, you can get anything you want. You can get a live streaming show, you can get a meme, you can get a group chat community, you can get reels, then just endlessly scroll through those. you can get your friends' updates in those pictures, and like so it's a combination of Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, all in one.
Yeah, I agree. I think I'm truthfully not as finger on the pulse with Facebook. I don't spend much time over there.
2 to 3 years ago, Facebook sucked.
Sure.
Like and it was like so bad because I would try to get on there and check how is our performance, what is this post doing, and you try to scroll in your news feed and you get down to like 3 or 4 scrolls and the app would not like refresh the feed. It would like kind of bug out and then you dip out.
Yeah.
And that was a problem for a while. And I don't know if I'm the only one that noticed it because I was doing it for work purposes like every damn day.
Yeah.
But now
your scroll rate versus everybody else.
I think it was like, it was probably within the last 10 months, definitely within the last year, I kind of caught myself. I was like, whoa, I'm actually using Facebook more than anything else, like as a consumer.
Interesting.
And I had to like sit back and think about why. And that's the answer why, because it's all of them into one.
Yeah. In the past, I've called YouTube a super social media for the same reasons that you're saying, but you're right. I mean, if Facebook has figured that out and now everything is more functional like that, it does take it to the whole next level where now there's chat features. Now everybody you know is on there already. Whereas like on the YouTube side of things, you miss that whole piece of community.
Yeah.
If somebody's not subbed or if somebody's not tapping in on whatever the comment section or anything like that, you're just not going to hit those people.
Exactly.
Yeah, it sounds like I got to spend more time on Facebook.
I mean, you don't have to.
It sounds like I do for my job. So how's your approach evolved when it comes to growth?
So it's that's a tricky question because there's some things happening within the world of Google right now that I think publishers are just trying to find out what it's going to look like. And so we've been in full out growth mode for, I don't know, 8 years.
Crazy.
and so it's trying to figure out what is the right move with how things are changing, and you just don't have any ansers.
Because the landscape is uncertain?
Well, it's like, and Zach could do this way better than I could.
Sure.
He could give you like a quick TED talk or an update in like 30 seconds on the Google stuff. And so it's you can go down a rabbit hole with that, but it's just like what is going to be valuable moving forward and what is Google going to care about? And how is everybody else and ChatGPT and AI, all that's wrapped into everything. It's who is going to win. My bet's on Google probably. Yeah. And so
that's a safe bet usually, I think.
And then, but who's going to lose?
Right.
And that could be a lot of people. Yeah.
Yeah. Is there a podium? Are there other people on it? Or is it just Google in all 3 first places? Time will tell.
It'd be a tall first place podium.
For sure. Yeah.
But I think the losing pit could be pretty ugly.
When you look at just types of content, written, live stream, short form, long form, where are you guys putting most of your energy?
In short form, vertical video, and written articles.
Why?
Written articles still is what drives the most revenue currently.
Interesting.
And short form video is what has the biggest reach.
So it's like a lead magnet kind of. It's just bringing people in. Yeah. What are your thoughts on live streaming? It's been now pushed. I think a lot of people are like, we need to be live streaming. We need to be live streaming. We're getting more and more requests in the studio. Can you guys do live streaming? The answer is yes, by the way, for anybody watching. But
are we live right now?
We're live. Yeah, we're live everywhere, especially Facebook. No, but that's something that I think is a buzzword now because people are seeing people like a Kai Cenat being like, "Oh, he's making how much money? He has a T-Mobile deal with Snoop Dogg. What's going on?" Yeah. What are your thoughts on live streaming and kind of how that's becoming a trendy thing? Yeah,
I wish I could do everything live because that means I get one shot at it and I don't have to think about, oh, if I mess this up, I can just redo it again. Yeah. Or editing. Like I hate editing. Like I edited too much in college to want to continue to edit things. So I don't know. Like I don't know how important live streaming is going to be. Is it for us in Nashville, because we have an established live stream audience, we can monetize that very, very well. And we have great partners that are sponsors that are getting benefits off of being on our platform too. So it's a true everybody wins. So I just don't know what that looks like out of something that's not already established. I have no idea.
Yeah, it's something we're going to test out with this with Creative Control.
I think it's fun. It's so fun.
I think it's fun too. Yes. I enjoy the live. I like also a chat component where now all of a sudden it's engaging. I even want to do like live studio audience stuff in here and be like, let's clear this out, bring some chairs in, like do stuff like that. So then it's live stream, but also live in studio.
Yeah.
I just think that's, and I'm with you also, a massive reason for leaning into it for us is going to be, we don't want to do the post, and it's nice to just be like, the show's done. It's out there. If you want to watch it, you can go watch it.
It's so much easier that way.
Yeah, it's been cool too. Like, I think part of the reason why it's becoming such more of an accepted and less intimidating format now for people is because content, like we talked about with Pat, is more, audiences are more accepting of things that aren't super, super polished. It's okay if you have dead air for 5 seconds.
Yes.
No one's going to hang up on you. It's cool.
And you get live moments that you can't get back.
Yes.
Like one that just came to my mind was in the draft. We do live draft shows.
Yeah.
So there was, well, first of all, the A.J. Brown trade while we were live, that was nuts.
Nice.
But even more recent, and this has nothing to do with the Titans, but when the Browns drafted Dylan Gabriel and not Shedeur Sanders, like people were screenshotting the three of our faces on our, like, what? Dylan Gabriel? Like, and so like those things you only get if you are live.
That's crazy, man. Yeah, I'm excited to get more into it. I'm also excited to see how people innovate in live streaming. I do think I know there's a whole Twitch community and that whole side of things, Kick, etc., where people are doing awesome stuff. As it comes more into the light of the mainstream, I'm excited to see how the innovation is formulated and the new faces and voices that we're going to get out of that.
Sure. Yeah, I think the main thing from being live is that you can talk and build a relationship with the audience member. You know, we do our show in Nashville. We talk Titans 5 days a week. We did our post-game show on Broadway again after the Chargers game. And a guy came down. He was in town from Houston. He told us on Friday, hey, I'm flying to Nashville for the game. I'm going to come see you guys. And he came in and we talked to him for 15 minutes, right? That's cool.
Yes.
That's really cool to get to do that, to get to put a name to the face. And that's just one example of, you know, a lot of people do that. But it is a different rewarding experience because, you know, the audience feels like they know us. They know you behind the microphone. And if you don't do live content, there's not a way for you to know them. Live content, you can.
Instant feedback loop, but also
yes.
both
And then
ways
you build like a BS relationship. Like we have a guy who's a Colts fan and Ohio State fan who just watches our Titans and our Vols content all the time. Why? I don't know. He likes us.
Yeah.
We have nicknames for him. They're not very nice, but but we love him.
Yeah.
And so it's that, but that wouldn't exist if we just did pre-recorded stuff and didn't do live interaction.
Yeah, the community element of it, the connectivity of it, I love. When you said you've been in growth mode for 8 years, what is the future of A to Z?
I don't know. I mean, it's to continue to grow. I think continue to evolve because that's what is fascinating about this industry is it's ever changing, and you can't get comfortable. You can't think you've made it or get complacent or relax. Yeah. Now it's exhausting.
Because someone else is going to steal your lunch.
Or something's going to change, and you're going to be like, "Whoa, what happened?" And why did we not see that coming?
Like, that's how I'm going to feel when I get back on Facebook. I'm going to be like, oh, shit.
Like, dang, there's a whole Reels thing here? Like, I've been here for 35 minutes. So I think if you're competitive, then this is a good place to be. You have to be a sicko. Sure. We have a company of football junkies, and we wake up and we do football stuff every day.
Nice.
Now there's, for me and Zach and some of our other management leadership, there's a lot of other non-football stuff that you have to do. But, that's what happens with football teams too. They have people that do all those not fun roles too.
Yeah. We recently launched Kirk Herbstreit and Joey Galloway's show Nonstop. And
I saw a clip on that one the other day.
Awesome. Something's working. And so we were locked in.
I actually didn't know that. I was like, I didn't know Kirk had a channel.
Oh, yeah. Brand new. That's a brand new show. He's been doing it since mid-September. They're crushing right now. And that was something where all of a sudden we had to be like, oh, we're football guys now. Like, we got to really pay attention to what's going on.
Yeah.
And it was something that I very quickly kind of was like, all right, y'all handle the show running of this because I can't. I'm not a sicko about football like that.
And I'm not anymore. Yeah. Like, I watched the least amount of football than I ever have in my life, and it's been that way every year since, I don't know, probably 2016.
So you do get tired too?
Yeah.
Of doing that?
Well, it's just that I can't keep up with everything. Yeah. Like, I don't watch. I love sports betting. I'm a big college football sports bettor more than I am an NFL sports bettor. But half the time I'm monitoring my plays on my phone. Like, I'm not like watching to see if Southern Miss is going to backdoor cover this thing or not. But like, it's just a time thing, and you get older and you just have other things you got to do, and I got to do this project around the house. I might put some on my my AirPods for 30 minutes
or just be a dad for a little bit.
Yeah, for sure. And so it's like I'm not, I don't watch the Monday night game or the Sunday night game, or I sure as hell don't watch the Thursday night football game. Yeah, I never, unless like the Eagles are playing, because my wife's family's from Philly, and I'm an Eagles guy now.
Yep.
So that's literally my football viewing. I get 2 games for sure that I'm going to watch: the Titans for work and the Vols for pleasure, and then whatever else I get on top of that is bonus.
How have you personally managed delegation as the company is scaled?
I mean, it is, at first it was really, really hard, and it still is, but I think we've done a really good job of hiring and finding the right people over the years to be our management level. We've got 3 guys on the website who are phenomenal at managing and knowing everything about the league trends. We have 2 guys that are NFL managers, and then one's our college football and NFL draft manager for the website. And we have a staff of currently 30 on the website there. And they're on constant Discord chats, just doing everything. And it's great because one of the hats I wear is running the website and managing everything on top of that. And so those guys are great on the social / multimedia side of things. We have a multimedia manager, a video manager, and a social manager. So we're building out that full level.
Yeah, that's great.
And it's taken a few years to get there, but you have to go through real life experiences in real time to understand how you're going to delegate or deal with every type of circumstance that pops up.
Totally. Well, I'm sure it's hard too, because it is such a personality driven industry too. So like, to step away is not only just to put work on somebody else's hands.
Yeah, like
it's to take your face out
for
of
sure.
it.
Like I went to school because I wanted to write and talk about sports.
Yeah.
On TV, on radio, on whatever.
Yeah.
And I haven't written an article in 6 years, which is awesome. Right?
Congrats. That means things are going well. Yeah.
Now I will write headlines all damn day because that is my gift.
Nice.
It's just tell me an angle you want to take and I will spit you out a headline pretty quickly.
Nice, dude.
And so I get phone calls or texts from staff like, hey, can you help me with this? And that's fun because that's like a quick jump on brainstorm group project type stuff. But it's just so different. It's a different experience. I offering jobs to people is the best thing ever.
So cool, man. Because
this is a dream job. They want to stop doing whatever they're currently doing and do sports all day. And it's a fun opportunity to do that. And so luckily we've had a great several years of growing and building a staff and building a system with all of that. So it's been very rewarding.
We briefly touched on AI earlier. And I think every creative conversation is incomplete now without asking about how are you guys implementing AI? What are your thoughts on it? Any fears? What do you kind of see the landscape?
Well, the one thing that we are very adamant about is our content is all human created.
Nice.
Right? It's one thing you cannot AI generate right now is the opinion that so-and-so has about their football team. Mm-hmm. And that's what people care about. You can look up, hey, what's the schedule, right? Who's the stat leaders or season record holders or whatever. And so, but it's trying to take that content and have it be your own. So that AI you can use AI within your systems in a lot of different ways.
Yeah.
But the main thing for us is we are humans. We create human content. And that, I think, is the one thing that we can all think that AI won't be able to perfect.
Yeah, I think, you said the keyword, which is yet.
Yeah.
Because who knows where all of this goes.
AI is the worst it's ever been right now.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Or ever will be, for sure.
Yes.
Yeah, I think, because we're looking at it in podcasting, and we use it for certain things in our company and for our clients. But something that I'm looking at a lot is there are AI podcasts out there. Mm-hmm. They are getting listenership. how human-like can we manufacture those opinions to be behind whatever that AI, like it is becoming a little bit blurry as far as where the line is.
Yeah.
I think in the podcast space, it is probably a little more ripe for the taking by AI versus your space, where I think you're right. It's more quick, opinionated, get it off, dialogue, banter versus like sit on a mic and a talking head is just gonna say all this stuff.
We've all seen like the TikToks or reels of like talking about you need to do these things to improve your gut health, and it's like a fake person saying these. Like, okay, go on.
I watched one. I saw a reel yesterday. Actually, it's a YouTube short. It was LeBron's voice talking about he had a housekeeper who had a dream to open a bakery. And so he one day talked to Savannah and then bought the guy's bakery location for him and paid for 4 years and then gave him the space. And he goes there every morning and he's his first customer of the day, every day. I was like, this isn't real.
There was a string of time over the summer, I think it was, where I got all of those on Facebook, but it was Peyton Manning stories.
Nice, dude.
It was like Peyton Manning rescued 100 dogs at this dog rescue right before they're going to be euthanized. And it's like, and then you see like everybody's aunt, like, oh my God, I love Peyton. Like, come on, people like, this is fake.
Do you feel any type of way about that?
Yeah, I hate it. It bothers me. I cannot stand it, but it's also hilarious because I'm like, who's coming up with this? There was one day I went through and screenshotted, I don't know if I deleted it off my phone or whatever, but of like 15 different Peyton Manning AI scenarios. It was like, this girl's dad died in a fiery accident and Peyton Manning rescued her and then he walked her down the aisle at her wedding. I'm like, come on. Like, this is insane.
Dude, it bothers me so much because I think about my parents who are on Facebook, who are everybody's aunt, like you're talking about. And they're seeing that stuff and they're buying it and they're like, Peyton Manning's a really good guy. And like, first of all, Peyton Manning, I do know to be a good guy. So fine. He's not that good a guy. That's insane. But also it could very easily go the other way where you see 100 clips of Peyton Manning's a terrible guy. Peyton Manning killed that girl's father. Now that's the clip. You know what I mean? What are we going to do with this?
This was probably more prevalent last year, which is why I think Google's doing some things to clean up some stuff.
Yeah.
There was a lot of websites that were fake websites that were being put up for click generation. And they were doing things. I saw Neyland Stadium burn down like 8 times, or a team plane crashes, all the players and coaches perish. Like, and the featured image is like a picture of like a NFL coach in like a fiery plane, and you're like, come on, like that's getting a lot of people because that's really freaking scary. Yeah, but it's all fake. Now I haven't seen those in several months, which is good. But how does that even happen in the first place?
Yeah, well,
there's loopholes that somebody really smart is going to find, and you're like, why can't that super smart person do something productive with their intelligence?
It doesn't get as many views, probably.
Yeah, I know.
It is scary though. That to me, that is like the biggest concern of AI right now for me is just the ability to put mass numbers of fake content out there that is spreading whatever information on whatever thing that you want to spread that info on, and there's really no way to combat that as of now. And we just gotta have to deal with it and see where the chips fall.
Yeah, and there's AI sites out there that are scraping and stealing content off of our site and publishing it as their own.
How do you guys feel about that? How do you deal with that?
Yeah, you report as spam. That's literally the only thing you can do.
Yeah,
which isn't going to work.
No, and I know. Well, and it's like how egregious can you get with a watermark? No,
and because then every time you watermark something, it falls flat. Like it doesn't work. Like, damn. Yeah, that was a great idea, but I screwed it up with my own brand.
Yeah, sick.
Yeah.
What are you most excited about right now, personal or business?
I mean, personal, it's definitely my son's 8 months old, and he's got the 2 front teeth. The top teeth are coming in hard, and he's doing everything all over the place, which is amazing. For business, it's trying to look at how we can find some solutions to what the next level or era of sports media is going to be, and how we can continue to increase our value as a company we are constantly evolving to give the best thing and the next thing to the sports fan. So it's always, it's a lot. But I don't know what that's going to be, but I would say the next year is going to be really interesting in the space to kind of see what comes out of it.
Is there anything we didn't touch on today that you want to touch on? Did I not ask you anything that you wish I did?
I'm really bad at that question.
It's a tough one, but I always want to leave.
Because I don't think a lot before I come into stuff.
Good.
I just want to let it just happen.
Because you do this so often.
Yeah. Not really. Okay. I think we cover a lot of good stuff, and I think the one thing is that I'll say this, back to my start. It's really hard to do what we do and to be in the sports industry. The burnout rate is high. You don't make a lot of money when you start out for a bit. And so the ability that I had to have an internship for free after college, I got to give props to my parents for saying, you have the opportunity to do this now. You will not in 5, 8, 10 years. So chase it now. If you have a dream, chase it now, because you don't have responsibilities. And so you can't do that when you've got wife, kids, bills, mortgage, whatever. So go for it.
You have good parents, bro. That's
Appreciate
awesome.
it, yeah.
Thanks so much for coming, man.
Absolutely.
Appreciate
Thanks for
you.
the invite.
Thank you for tuning in. Appreciate you. Like, subscribe, etc. Hit us in the comments. Let us know who you want to see on here next. Later.